Assalamu alaikum and good morning to everyone. Today myself Ziyan Zakir feel very privileged to welcome you all to today's debate. So as you all know, the topic for the today's debate is population is not the cause of poverty but an asset. So for today's debate, we have two teams, team A the girls team and team B the boys team, and we have the judges also who would take the final decision. So before we start the debate, there are some rules which every participant has to follow. Rule number one is each participant or the first speaker of the team will be given 2 minutes, and the other speakers will be given only 1 minute. So the rule number two is each participant should speak when it is his or her turn. And the rule number three is argument should be relevant to the topic. So without any further delay, let's start the debate. So I would like to invite the first speaker from the team A to present their views.
They say numbers create poverty, but I'm here to prove you that numbers create power. Honorable judge, esteemed host, and worthy opponents. I am Veena Tulida alongside my dedicated team, and I stand firmly in favor of motion. Our opponents incorrectly label large population as a cause of poverty, and they are looking at the maths all wrong. A large population is a creation of massive domestic market, the likes of which a small nation can only dream of. This market is the ultimate engine of wealth and generates millions of jobs. You do not solve poverty by having fewer number of people. You solve it by having a large market which is enough to sustain industrial greatness. Moreover, more people means more brains, and more brains leads to more solutions to the very problems that keep a nation in poverty. Whether it's a breakthrough in agriculture to end hunger or a new technology, innovation is always a numbers game. Poverty is not caused by too many people. It's caused by too little investment in those people. And our people are not a burden to be managed. They are the most powerful weapon which we have to destroy poverty once and for all. Because oil can run out, gold can disappear, but it's the human potential that multiplies.
Thank you for your insightful words. Now is the turn of the first speaker of the team B to present their arguments.
A resource should reduce suffering and not multiply. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Respected judges and my dear fellow speakers, I am Murtaza Bilal, and today I stand firmly against the proposed motion. Large population is not a cause of poverty but an asset. When we discuss of population, we often reduce it to numbers, but behind every number, a human life exists, a right and a responsibility. A population can only be deemed as a resource if the society has the capability to provide opportunities and sustainability to every individual. Germany thrives with 84 million people, India struggles with 1.4 billion. The difference is not the effort or talent, it's simply population pressure. Calling a large population a resource seems hopeful, but hope without planning is what causes severe hardships. Across the world's most populated countries, India, Pakistan, Nigeria, Bangladesh, and Congo, rapid population growth has created unbearable pressure on resources like land, water, food, and employment. And which is why we say when demand grows faster than resources, poverty is not accidental, it's an inevitable consequence. Poverty doesn't only remain for one generation or two generations, but it creates a vicious cycle of its own, where each passing generation gets poorer and poorer. It's because of the lack of quality of education and healthcare which makes them suffer from child labor and make them a liability in future. At the same time, the environment pays the price for this uncontrolled growth. Deforestation, water scarcity, pollution, waste accumulation, and climate vulnerability are the common consequences of this uncontrolled population growth, and the poorest are again the ones who suffer from it. In contrast to all this stuff, if we think of the nations that have controlled this population growth very well, they have been able to invest on their people and have transformed them into a great human resource. So in conclusion, quantity without quality creates poverty, not prosperity. An unmanaged human population is not a resource, it's a mental, social and environmental burden. Thank you.
For your information words. Now I would like to invite the second speaker from the team.
Hey everyone, I am Sadia Azad, and today I stand before you to speak in the favor of the idea that high population or large population is not a cause of poverty but an asset to society. As we know, in today's era, whenever there is unemployment, there is pollution, there is poverty, the first blame is put on high population. If there is pressure on resources, again we blame population. Every failure is hidden behind one word, and that is overpopulation. So we can say today in almost every discussion, high population is blamed. But if we look at the issue with a broader vision, we realize that population is actually an asset rather than the cause of poverty. Because people are the real strength of the nation. It is because of people, because of the population, we can work, we can create jobs and contribute to the national development. It is because of the people we can produce goods, we can provide services and move the nation forward. It is because of the people of our nation that we can convert human effort into economic growth and social pressure. And those who said population is cause of poverty, I want to ask them, have you considered the strength, skills and potential of the people also? Yes, in some ways, population creates pressure, but its benefits are far greater than its limitations. And I would like to conclude it by saying, before calling population burden, we must first recognize its value as a human capital. Thank you.
Thank you. Now it's the turn of the second speaker from the team B to present their arguments.
Respected judge, honorable opponents, and my dear friends, I, Zain Mohammed, stand here to strongly reject the false claim that a large population is an asset, not a cause of poverty. So let's stop romanticizing numbers and start facing reality. If population were a resource by default, then countries with the largest population would be the richest. But the truth is the opposite. According to World Bank, over 700 million people still live in extreme poverty, and majority of them live in high population countries. That's not a coincidence, that's a consequence. A population is only an asset when it is educated, skilled, employed. Otherwise, it becomes pressure. Pressure on food, water, housing, and healthcare. When resources remain limited and mouths keep increasing, poverty does not disappear, it multiplies. In many densely populated countries, youth unemployment exceeds 20 to 30%. What does that mean? Millions of young people with energy but no opportunity, a ticking economy and a social time bomb. No job means no income. No income means no dignity. And that is not a resource, that's a crisis. Supporters of this motion claim that people are well, but tell to that overcrowded places where one teacher handles 60 students. Tell to that hospitals where one patient waits hours, sometimes days. Tell that to families forced to live in slums because land and housing can't keep up with the pace of population growth. Even environmental damage is linked. More population means more deforestation, more pollution, more waste, and fewer natural resources per person. Poverty does not exist in isolation. It grows when people outnumber opportunities. Let me be clear. Population without planning is not power, it's pressure. Population without education is not strength, it's struggle. Population without jobs is not an asset, it's a burden. So I conclude with absolute confidence. A large population is automatically a resource. When growth outspaces development, it becomes a direct and dangerous cause of poverty, not a solution. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we are moving towards the rebuttal section. Now I would like to invite Zubira Shaukat for the same.
Opponent has said that India has a poverty. Yes, India has a poverty, but it is not caused by population, but by weak planning and poor governance. India has received financial support from institutions like World Bank to reduce poverty, but large sums of money was also spent on projects like the Statue of Unity, which cost around 3,000 crores. If even part of this money had been used for the education, healthcare, skill training, and jobs, millions of people could have become productive assets. This shows that mismanagement, not population, caused poverty.
Now I would like to invite Shahdev for the rebuttal, which he is going to the team.
Blaming everything on poor management is an easy excuse. If population was not a problem, why do overcrowded cities run out of water, jobs and space, even before plans are made? No amount of management can magically stretch limited land, food and resources for unlimited people.
Now we are moving towards the question answer section. So for that, I would like to invite Sadat Shabir for the same.
So my question is that why do developed countries invite Indian workers if population is a problem?
India, there are a lack of opportunities, there is a lack of jobs, and therefore many developed countries hire cheap laborers from India to work in their projects, to work for their projects. Because in India there is lack of opportunity, there are too many people, and because of the too many people, there are less number of jobs, and therefore the developed countries hire cheap laborers for their projects, and that's the reason the developed countries hire workers from India.
If fewer people meet prosperity, should highly populated successful economies be considered as failures?
If we consider the the developed countries, we can see that their base is quite strong for them to handle such a huge population. But the most countries in the world are developing, and they don't have such a stronger base to hold such a large population and provide them with opportunities and ensure their dignity.
So my question is like that, if population is a burden, why do developed countries face problems due to low population and aging workforce?
As we know, excess of everything is bad. When anything is in our control, we can use them for our purposes. Like it's like a forest fire. It's like fire. When it's under our control, we can use it to generate electricity. But when it gets out of control, it burns the same facilities. In the same way, population is like that. If population is under our control, we can use their innovative mind to do our projects and to do the work and all the stuff. But when it gets out of our control, when it's much larger than we can handle, we are unable to sustain it and drive it into a force which will boost the economy.
Now it is the time of team. We ask the questions from the team.
Send my question here. So my question is, how can population be an asset if the countries with the population have better living standards compared to countries with a large population?
Can you show me India anywhere from this list?
I mean India by large population.
In India, poverty is because of poor governance, mismanagement, not because of population, not people. Living people is easy and fixing system is difficult. What do you mean?
She said about the management system. Even the best management has limits. Uncontrolled population puts pressure on every system, making every effective system, work in extreme conditions or in difficulty.
Where?
Where? What do you mean where? India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. There are too many slums. People cannot move out from slums. There are too many people who live in poverty. There are no jobs. There are no jobs.
Increase due to lack of affordable housing and urban planning.
That's if you talk about any nation in Europe, for example, Germany, France, Italy, there are less number of people, but
Germany is facing problem decline. It invites the immigrants.
it is not about only Germany. There are too many nations. Italy, France, Spain. There are okay. The people of India, they go in developed nations to work because there is no,
Do you know why they invite them?
why?
To increase economy. How come Indians are like
If they want to increase the economy,
Yes.
why is India facing economical problems?
Because of
Why is
poor
Bangladesh
governance.
facing economical
Because of poor
problems?
governance.
What do you mean poor governance?
Corruption, mismanagement, that's all. The people who are there are yes.
Corruption is not related to economy. Yeah.
You told it, but
If
do you mean
there are
governance?
if
So
there
I
are
don't.
What was why do Indian people go to different countries? As I previously answered it, because we do admit that people are innovative, but when there is overpopulation, there is so much competition, and if there is so much competition there, and the people need to be more and more good to sustain in such an environment, and there would be poverty because there will be low wages, as the systems would discriminate between people.
It's all, I will give the answer. This point is also related to the poor governance, because if government will invest on the poor people,
how will the government invest on a large population if it doesn't have such resources? Like we can see India, it's having fourth largest GDP in the world, but when this GDP is spent on such a huge population of 1.4 billion, the GDP per capita is decreasing, which is why the quality
Because of
gap
poor governance.
and poor governance is why because of the overpopulation.
No. How?
Poor governance
How
is
can
because
you
of the
justify
poor.
this statement?
Because if we take practical example of India, when there is large population, there corruption enters the system as there are many middlemen between the government and the people.
You used the word corruption. That's also related to the poor governance.
Corruption is related to the poor governance, but it's caused by the overpopulation.
How?
How? How can you justify this statement?
Just from within corruption comes from
Let's see the example of India. Even though our government is making a large budget to the people, but when there are
Government in India is null. I recently said that.
so give an example of an efficient government. Give an example of a
You know
100%
that India
efficient
has
government.
yes.
If the organization from this UNO gave India 20,000 crores, why did they spend?
Not 20,000. More than that. Yes.
Okay, why did they spend on the statue?
Because poor governments, they don't have the money. They invest on the people, poor people. They want to just like we want to
Just give an example of 100% efficient government. Just give an example of 100%.
Okay, give an example of a 100% efficient government in any of the country in the world.
How?
How?
Describe it.
Population is also.
Corruption is everywhere.
And perfection is not everywhere.
Perfection is not everywhere.
So that's what we see. When the population is it's there.
They reduce poverty by doing industrialization, education planning, and resource planning.
Yes.
Everything.
It also depends.
Because of the good government. Yes. Yes. That's all.
Yes. So if we talk about China, if we talk about China, there was a time when the population was controlled and there wasn't much population, so they didn't have any problem in investing in that. And when there was investment on the population, the existing population turned into a human resource, and which subsequently led to economic growth. And now they are able to justify such a huge population. But if we see most of the developing countries like Southeast Asian and African countries, that's not the case. There was a huge population since they got independence and they didn't have any resources to justify the need.
Poverty using a massive workforce to dominate global manufacturing. What about that?
As I,
What reason?
when China invested on its people as it had a low population in the 1960s because of the Mao Zedong's reign.
China has invested on like companies. They are providing jobs to the people, by which they can reduce their poverty. Yes.
If
That's
Indians
because
say that they have poor governance, then why do they elect the same government every year?
Corruption.
Corruption is everywhere. Corruption is in China, corruption is in USA. But their government is good. Why?
Where is it?
Where is it?
Didn't you mention that the American government is good, the government of China is good, and the Indian government is bad? That's too poor for the people of India. How? If they know that they have the poor governance, why do they elect the same government every year? For example, BJP. For example, any party in
What
India.
is the topic? And where are we?
You are leading us to the
No,
topic. You are
I just
targeting poor
told me
government.
it's because of poor governance. I don't know.
You are just targeting government in every statement. Whatever I say, you say poor government.
Yes, that is a
What do you expect me to say this?
That is a solution.
And we said that poor governance is due to the people.
And then you are asking me why are you leading us to that topic?
Then if we are describing, we have to go into history, we have to go into the context of politics.
See. I just told you that poverty in any country is because of the poor governance.
And we said
Mismanagement. Poor planning.
that mismanagement is due to overpopulation, and we described that.
No, if government will make laws,
How will-
strict laws. Yes, yes.
How will it make strict policies if it won't be able to implement on such a large population?
Yes, I'm not
Even if there is a large population, the laws cannot be implemented on every person in the country, in the whole wide country.
There will be a mismanagement.
There will be a mismanagement because not every system is perfect. Overpopulation makes the system ineffective. Yes, you said about laws, you said about strict government, and I said that such laws, such implementations cannot be, exercised on a large population, and due to that there is mismanagement, and not every system is perfect. This is due to the overpopulation. It makes the system ineffective. That's why,
If there is a population effect.
overpopulation is the reason of making a system ineffective. Therefore, this makes the nation lead to poverty because of the job scarcity, because of resource overuse of resource, because of
If government will invest on the jobs,
poor governance.
no.
How is it poor?
I'm telling that if government will invest on job opportunities and will make planning, development planning, then how can it be it can be implemented on the people?
If there is accountability, then how can you say that you can't implement it? If there is accountability, you can't blame population for everything.
Yes, that's
They are
why.
burden.
With this, we get to the end of the debate and the final. With this, we get to the end of the debate and the final decisions will be taken by the judge.
Everyone, as you know, it was a hard debate, and the topic of the debate was population is not the cause of poverty, but an asset, a resource. So both the teams have very confidently played there and presented their strong arguments. And but the thing is, there we have to learn so many things in it. As I have put the criteria in the debate, 4 things are there. One is presentation, content, confidence, and body gestures. These are the 4 parameters of the debate in which your arguments and all the things are counted. And on that basis, I have given you the marks. And first, I would say Group A, that is girls group, who are speaking in favor of the motion. And presentation, if you see there, they have got 21 marks out of 35 in presentation. In content, they got again 21 marks out of 35 marks. Confidence level, you see yours, you got 22 marks out of 35. And body gestures, you got 16 marks out of 35 marks. So you can see why you are lacking things. Now boys, which is the group B, who are speaking against of the motion. And in presentation, boys got 23 marks out of 35. In content, they got 22 marks out of 35. In confidence, they got 20 marks out of 35. And body gestures, they have got just 11 marks out of 35 marks. The body gestures, I have seen that they are not using their body gestures properly. So that seems that lacks the confidence there. So we should have, whenever we are speaking, whenever we are using the words, in the same way, we should use our hands and all the things there. And now, let me come to the final decision, which was done very impartially, very judiciously. And total marks, boys got 76 and girls got 80 marks. So the winners of this topic of this session is girls, and boys are the runners of this session. Congratulations girls, and boys, I will say you that you need to work more, and all the people, if we are going somewhere having the debate, outside with other school, at that time you have to bear in your mind that we have to be very much well prepared and we have to be very confident, and all the things which requires for the debate, that thing should be always kept in mind. So this was just the beginning, and later we will have more debates and we will be more practical and confident in this. Thank you and have a nice day.